So I was tagged in a series asking the question of what prepping is to me. Now let me begin this with a bit of a qualifier, and I'll get into my method of prepping, which is going to be very different than probably most on here. I live in Florida. I've lived in Florida all my life. I'm a native-born Floridian, and I have witnessed both tangentially and directly the destruction that we get into with Florida's main natural disaster, and that is a hurricane. The secondary one is flooding. Now, with that being said, our method of preparation is very different than somebody who lives in an environmentally stable location. For me, I never have considered having years upon years upon years of food storage. My emphasis is on mobility and energy production, as well as adaptation and repair. So, to me, my approach to prepping is in practice, okay, is going to be very different than others. However, in theory, I think they're exactly the same. Let me explain that. The idea behind prepping, which I still can't warm up to that term, it just sounds so happy. And I didn't even know there was that term until I got on the YouTube. We just called it hurricane preparation. And we'd have these lists, and it's something that I've been around all of my life, so I have quite a bit of experience with it. It wasn't until I got on YouTube with the Cranky Prepper, and then I thought he was like the only one who termed it as such, and then, now it's getting a little wild, and I'd love to talk more about that, how that's evolving. It's an interesting thing. But every year at a certain time, down here in Florida, we begin to stock up freshwater supply, fuel, cash. we keep our gas tanks with at least half a tank of gas at all times if you're well prepared. The idea being, gas don't pump when the lights are out, and trust me, the lights go out and they stay out. And you don't want to be around the gas pumps at that initial rush. You don't want to have to deal with the people coming late to the party. And that's not a matter of judgment. Everybody looks at the world differently. Everybody has different sets of values, and it isn't a matter of putting it off. But prepping in itself is taking a look at something beyond what is and what you know for sure is going to happen. You have to sort out what you need apart from what you want. It really gets you to take a look at what your core needs are. And to me, that's extremely valuable. It's extremely valuable to really see what's left when the gizmos shut down. What's really important when it looks like your house may be destroyed, and when you have only a certain amount of time to take only a few things, it really puts life into context. And that's what prepping is to me. It's that hard line between wants and needs. And the first thing to go is the wants. And it's an interesting approach. Now, the canning and the things and the services that people are selling, the businesses that have spun off of that. I think that's all right. Again, probably on the low end, personally, as far as canning and stuff like that, I stay away from canning. I stick with lightweight, high mobility. I'll have, on the low end, 30 days of food stocked up, and on the high end, 60. And man, and it's tough to keep water. So I mean, and it's embarrassing to say, but I probably can get down to, at times, only a 2 to 3 week water supply. Now, what I do is, as soon as, say, we know from quite a ways out that a natural disaster is coming, and I will begin to, while my water pump is operating, I will begin to pump up my water supply. Now, I also have, I'm also able to generate power. So, the top priority of my power generation is to continue to produce and replenish my water supply. That's the main thing with it. That and the food storage. But once you once you go through your perishables, and then you no longer have to dedicate any energy to food preservation. So I'm not going to say that's kind of good. It just is what it is. And but yeah, that's what prepping is to me. Now, do I have any peers as far as prepping goes? We don't. I don't go to these little prepping disaster doomsday things that are starting to spring up, because that's not the point of why I'm doing it. I care about all my neighbors, okay? And, it's like that movie Backdraft. You go, we go. Not everybody on my block is the same level of preparedness, but I have no qualms whatsoever about sharing with my neighbors. And we've been through a couple of pretty heavy duty storms over here, and you would be surprised how tight of a bond you can establish with people in a situation like that when you are willing to share. Like when your power comes on first, and you can, all of a sudden, your ice maker's working again, and you're handing out bowls of ice up and down the street, not to get anything out of it, just to be neighborly, because we're all filling in the gaps. So that's me, and that's what prepping is to me. Man, oddly enough, I didn't think I could really go on about this, but I even managed to babble a little bit. So there was it's a tag video, and I know Mojo Pin tagged 2 people, but Mojo Pin 21, I'll put a link down below. But in the original video, the person only tagged 1 person. And I know, Mojo, your initial tag wanted to hit up old Bookworms, and Bookworms, also known as AKA 33 1/3% of the Tactical Gearhead channel. And I'm going to go ahead and have him as my 1 tag, and we're going to keep this tight. I thought about I've got some very famous internet friends, but I'm going to keep it tight and just tag Bookworms. What prepping is to you, and I'd like to hear whether or not, John, whether or not you are into the lifestyle fully. I know you have a high level of understanding of what the lifestyle is, and I'd love to hear anything you got on it, and I hope you get along with it. So yeah, Bookworms, you're tagged. What does prepping mean to you? Y'all take care.